tonight. It's 8 in a row. And here come the Diamondbacks. No, not those legends. These snakes, the ones who lead the National League in home runs. Only one way out of this. Got to get some hits and keep throwing strikes. And keep your heads up. Marlins, Diamondbacks, Game 1. The weekend starts in South Florida. The Marlins are hoping a win streak starts in South Florida tonight. 8 is enough. 31-30 now are the Fish. The Diamondbacks at 34-29, second place team in the National League West. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. 8 losses, 7 by 1 run. You can just feel this ball club, this Marlin ball club, just needing just a little ray of sunshine.
I think sometimes when you have a streak this bad that stretches as many as 8 games as we've seen, it's going to take some weird little play, a little break at one time, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open, and that's what Edwin Rodriguez is hoping for. Everybody
is focused on getting hits with runners in scoring position, but the Marlins have had trouble getting guys on base. As we take a look at the starting lineups tonight, the Marlins have tweaked their lineup. It's brought to you by Warren Henry Automobiles.
Well, against the lefty Joe Saunders, Edwin gives Chris Coughlin the night off. So to get somebody at the leadoff spot, he has Bonifacio and Infante, Gabby in that number 4 spot. Then it changes a little bit down the end. Wes Helms in there against the lefty Saunders. Remember, Greg Dobbs started against Saunders in Arizona. And Ozzie Martinez gets a start tonight. And I think a start that he needs to. He needs to get some ABs and see what he can do.
Anibal Sanchez, the last guy to get a win on the mound. He goes tonight for the Fish.
He was outstanding in his game in Arizona. And you're right, Rich. That was the last time that the Marlins won a game. He went 8 innings in that game. Of the 6 hits and the 2 runs, there were 2 solo home runs by Upton and Kelly Johnson. But the Diamondbacks, their broadcasters, a lot of their coaches, they're still talking about the stuff that Anibal Sanchez had in Arizona. On the other hand, the Marlins see the left-hander Joe Saunders for the second time. He wasn't as sharp, but in his 6 innings gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. Gabby Sanchez had a nice game against him. He was 2 for 3 with a home run against Saunders.
The former All-Star when he was an Angel, now in his 2nd year as an Arizona Diamondback. So it's the Marlins and the Diamondbacks. This is a 4-game series. It starts tonight here on a Friday night in Miami. Coming up, a visit with the skipper. How do you snap an 8-game losing streak? Marlins are going to give it their best when we return.
against the Arizona Diamondbacks with Jeff Conine. I'm Craig Benavini. Nice to have you with us. What is the temperature of that Marlin clubhouse? Losing 8 straight, historic numbers now. Their worst ever was 11 straight.
A little tepid right now in the clubhouse. You know, it's not obviously going to be a joyous atmosphere, but I don't think they're down and out like a really depressing atmosphere either. These guys know they've been right in most of these ball games. They've only lost over the last 7 of these 8 by 1 run, so they know the offense has almost done the job. They just haven't got those big hits. The pitching's been great.
Thoughts from the manager on the topic? Edwin, if you had a gauge where your team is from a mental standpoint right now, how much are these losses weighing on them, and do you think they're over the mental part, or they won't be until they win the game?
Well, it's hard for them, especially when we have such a young team. But they're taking it well. I mean, they're learning from the experience, and playing close game and losing close games. That mean that we're in the game. And they know that every day that we can come in and we're going to be in the game. Well,
you were happy the Brewers left town. Now, unfortunately, you're happy the Braves left town. And here you go with Arizona.
Arizona, they have a very good team, very good lineup. They already showed that they're leading the league in home runs. Very athletic lineup and very athletic team. So we have a tough task, but then again, we're going to have to start winning sometime soon.
You moved Mike Stanton up to the 5th spot. 11 of his 14 homers, unfortunately, have been solo.
Right.
Maybe moving him up would help in that regard?
Well, Dobbs is out. He's got hit by a pitch yesterday, and then I want to give him a breather. And facing a left-handed today, so that's why I move him up and see how we respond to that.
All right, thoughts there of Edwin Rodriguez. We'll see if Stanton in the 5-0 helps the Marlins score some runs.
Well, the big man needs to be in the middle of the lineup for me. Get him out there, get some guys on, let him hit the ball up in the upper deck and score some runs.
4 runs in the series against Atlanta. Here we go. It's the pitching matchup of Anibal Sanchez for Florida. 13th start. He's 5-1. He beat Arizona. That was the last win the Marlins had, May 31st, facing the lefty. Joe Saunders next on Fox Sports Florida.
By Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste. And by Florida Power and Light, FPL is working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient. Visit FPL.com to learn more. Sun Life Stadium ready to go. Anibal Sanchez on the mound, and Ryan Roberts is stepping in the box. The Marlins and the Diamondbacks. They met in Arizona The Marlins won one of the 3 games, and it was Sanchez who brought home the W. And he splits the plate with a strike. It's 0-1. Looking for win number 6 on the season.
And it was an Anibal Sanchez that had a lot of the Diamondbacks hitters talking of the kind of stuff that he had in that game.
He's had a lot of those ball games this year. He was terrific in May. In fact, he was 4-0 with a 1.66 ERA. The Marlins last night saw the pitcher of the month in May, Jair Jurgens. He was 5-1, a 1.65 ERA. 2-1 coming to the high energy, heavily tatted up Ryan Roberts.
He's kind of gone in streaks this year, Roberts has, and right now in his last 4 games, just 1 for 15.
Tat Man, as he's known in the desert. 2-2. In the air, Stanton circling, now coming to the line. Makes the catch. The Diamondbacks come in at 34-29. They're a game behind the Giants in the West. Warren Henry brings you the Warren Henry advantage. You've seen Roberts, now meet Kelly Johnson, who had a big series in the desert. So did Justin Upton. Stephen Drew's in the cleanup spot. Chris Young is behind him. Miguel Montero does the catching. Juan Miranda, the Cuban, at first. Gerardo Parra is in left field. And Joe Saunders hits 9th. And this is Kelly Johnson. And boy, did he light it up when the Marlins were in Phoenix.
Light it up. That might be an understatement. He was 6 for 14 with 3 home runs in that series.
And his other 3 hits, a couple of triples and a double.
Almost hit for the cycle one night. That's the one thing when you see a team so closely. We're seeing pretty much the same lineup for the Diamondbacks, and they're seeing the same lineup pretty much for the Marlins.
It's a Diamondback team that came out of April kind of limping and then got on a real good run. Won 15 of 17 games. Since they took 2 of 3. There's a look at the bench coach, or rather the hitting coach, Don Baylor. Up close and personal look at Don Baylor. There is the manager, Kirk Gibson. His 2nd season as the Diamondback manager. Really his first full season.
Yeah, he took over last July 1st.
A.J. Hinch was the man he replaced. Gibson, a bench coach on Bob Melvin's staff as well from 2007. And Melvin, of course, named as the interim manager for the Oakland Athletics. John Heyman has a nice piece on SportsIllustrated.com today about first-year managers, and he has Gibson and Edwin Rodriguez as first-year managers, guys that are in their first full seasons. Johnson bounces out. Here comes Justin Upton. Here comes the defense.
By Warren Henry. Lomo, Bonifacio in center field tonight, and Mike over in right. Wes Helm starting at 3rd. Different look on the left side. Ozzie at short, Infante and Gabby on the right side. John Buck behind the plate.
Now Upton, in the 3-game series, he had 8 hits, drove in 5 runs, hit a couple of long homers, including one up into the restaurant in left field. Perfect spot outside Black. 0-2.
Well, that's one thing. The starting pitching has not been an issue during this losing streak, especially the last 3 games. I mean, you go back to the rookie Brad Hand making his debut, 6 unbelievable innings. Ricky Nolasco pitched well enough to win. Last night, Chris Volstad pitched well.
And it hasn't been a big issue either. Sanchez just misses, and it's 2-2. The Marlins have just lost a ton of close games. 7 of the 8 losses by 1 run. The Diamondbacks had a stretch this year where they lost 6 one-run games in a row. And obviously they pulled out of it. Chris Coughlin sitting close to the new Marlins hitting coach. Coughlin getting a night off. And a great pitch by Sanchez right in on the hands. Buck goes back and squeezes it. Anibal Sanchez goes 1-2-3 through the Diamondbacks. Marlins go to work when we return. In this game raises $11,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-2873, 800-798-CURE, or go online to pcf.org. Former Hokie out of Virginia Tech, Springfield, Virginia is home for Joe Saunders.
He's been steady. He's had a pretty good career, the 29-year-old left-hander. And in that start against the Marlins did score 4 runs against Saunders. Gabby had a nice game, had a couple of hits, one of those a 2-run homer, but that was the game the Diamondbacks won 15-4.
That was a Ricky Nolasco start that got out of control. So here's Bonifacio leading it off. Saunders with a fastball for a strike. Bonifacio against Saunders had a couple of hits. He was 2 for 3. Not a lot of history between Saunders and the Fish. Saunders spent 6 years with the Angels. Bonifacio finds himself in center field tonight, giving Coughlin the night off, with Ozzie Martinez in the 8th spot at shortstop. Bonifacio rips one down the third baseline into the corner, and off to the races goes Bonifacio. Parra picks it up, and Emilio Bonifacio with a leadoff double.
It's really interesting, Rich. This is what we would have seen a little bit more of as Bonifacio just crushes his ball, and with the third baseman Roberts playing off the line, gets it by him. We would have seen more of Bonifacio in center, maybe in left to give Morrison a night off, maybe at second to give Infante a night off, but he's been playing shortstop on an everyday basis. But a good way to start things tonight.
It sounds like that will change here in a few days when Hanley Ramirez has his rehab up in Jupiter, playing there, and looks like everything has progressed to the fact that Hanley will spend only the minimal amount of time on the disabled list. Infante drops one down first base side. Saunders flips out at first base. That's a heck of a play by Saunders. He's not quick to get up at the 6'3", 210.
That took an unbelievable effort, bare hand, and then a backhand flip to just get Omar Infante, who dropped down a beautiful bunt, pushing it that direction You like to do that with the left-hander on the mound because he's falling off a little bit toward third base. And, you know, they're checking to see if that wrist is okay. But this is nicely done. Great execution. See how the left-hander's falling a little toward third. It's harder for him to get over there. He gets over there. Look at how he points to his first baseman, Juan Miranda. Points to him and say, you get to the bag, I'll make the play. Good communication, too.
Now, here's Morrison in a spot to drive in a run. As Saunders dusts himself off. You see the infield, up the middle is back. First base is back. Morrison takes a fastball that's inside, and it's 1-0. He had 3 hits in that series, which was about 10 days ago. Breaking ball is a strike. With runners in scoring position this year, Morrison just 195, but he's got plenty of company. The Marlins as a team, especially in this 8-game losing streak, have really scuffled in this spot.
We talked about it, Rich. The last time the Marlins had a lead was in the second game of that Milwaukee Brewers series. They scored a run in the first inning.
That's 7 days ago. That's a Saturday.
And that eventually ended up to be a 3-2 loss.
So one step at a time. Maybe the Marlins can get the lead and then go from there. Again, still at 1-2. Bonifacio's at third, and there's one out. Lomo last night was 1 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and singled. Marlins a 3-2 loss to the Braves last night. Two and two. You know, the Diamondbacks were red hot when the Marlins saw them, but they've cooled off a bit, having gone 4-5 over their last 9. They lost last night. Actually won last night at Pittsburgh. Morrison strokes it to right field. That's deep. That may get out. It does. And Logan Morrison gives the Marlins their first lead in a week.
Boy, he jumped on that ball, and keep in mind he had 2 strikes on him. He had a base hit and a walk against Saunders in Arizona. So he'd seen him before. The salute, he feels comfortable, and that was a line drive home run. That wasn't one of those majestic high home runs. That was a great AB with a runner at third base. There's the swing, and it got out quickly.
Well, here's Gabby Sanchez. Sanchez swings and fouls it off. Got to feel good for the fish. And for the home run challenge, Logan Morrison just raised $11,000. You can donate 800-798-CURE or PCF.org. Oh, 2. Gabby Sanchez has been the Marlins' rock. Along with those 10 home runs, he's got 14 doubles. He's hit in a variety of spots in the order. And I know that throughout this 8-game losing streak, Edwin Rodriguez has moved some guys up and down, in and around. Gabby's pretty much been in the cleanup spot for a while. Nice play. Had him scouted well. Gives the youngster the ball. Don't throw it back. Don't throw it back. 1-2. Gabby to right. Upton makes the catch. Marlins have had some good swings against Joe Saunders.
Yes, they have. Take a look at the defense for the Diamondbacks, brought to you by Warren Henry, Gerardo Parra, Chris Young, and Justin Upton. Roberts, Drew, Johnson, and Miranda around the infield, and Miguel Montero. Montero caught 3 of the 4 games in Arizona.
Here is Stanton. Mike takes a pitch outside. 14 home runs now for Stanton. His 14th coming in the 7th inning last night. Mike takes away. Matt Kemp continues his tear and has taken over the lead in the National League with 18 homers. Jay Bruce, Prince Fielder with 17 each. Lance Berkman now has 15. And Mike Stanton is tied with a guy named Albert Pujols.
Every time Lance Berkman returns to Houston, he's good for a couple of home runs. Good to see a starting pitcher get a little cushion. And by the way, the first inning has been a tough inning, a rough inning for Joe Saunders. He's given up 14 first inning runs.
Stanton yanks that one down the left field line. Enough carry? No, off the wall. Mike around first. I don't know if Stanton thought he got it, but it was almost like when he got to first, he slowed down thinking maybe he did hit it out. Here's a look.
He didn't hit it very well. It didn't sound well. It looked like he caught it on the end of the bat. So I don't think he would have thought he got it all. But sometimes down in that corner, you never know. The ball bounced up, stayed in the ballpark. But either way, Mike Stanton has a double, and the Marlins have 3 extra base hits here in the first inning.
For Stanton, his 14th double of the season. Now Buck. You know, the one, maybe not the one, but one of the positives that has come out of this last week is that John Buck has started to swing the bat a little bit better. He doubled last night and had 4 hits in the series against the Braves.
Yeah, right now Buck on a 4-game hitting streak.
Now 4 hits may not sound like a lot, but the Marlins had just 16 hits in the 3-game series. Two and one.
Seen a lot of change-ups from Saunders here in the first inning.
Logan Morrison, a 2-run homer. Mike Stanton is at second after a double.
There's a look at the scouting report on Saunders. He will sink his fastball. Curveball kind of varies, and a bigger curve to lefties, and we've already seen, as I mentioned, a lot of change-ups here in the first inning.
Let's see what he gets. 3-1. Fouls it off. Buck had a dramatic home run in Arizona. It was dramatic for about a half inning. Remember, he, in the top of the 9th, tied a game against J.J. Putz. It was the first blown save for the Diamondbacks closer. There's Wes Helms on deck. Putz blew another save in Pittsburgh, but still has only blown 2 this year. Saunders strikes him out with a good changeup. Marlins, though, get on the board. A couple of runs, their first lead since last Saturday. Logan Morrison in Miami. Marlins and Diamondbacks. Logan Morrison put a 2-strike pitch in the seats in right field with a runner at third base. That was a great at bat because we've talked at length about the approach of many of the young hitters with runners at third base. And instead of looking for a ball you can hit in the air, you look for a ball you can drive. And certainly Morrison did that. Stephen Drew, Chris Young, Miguel Montero against Anibal Sanchez.
And because of the lack of leads and first inning runs, it's the first time in a while a Marlins starter has had a lead.
Drew takes a good sharp breaking ball. And it's 0-2. Of course, this is the team that Sanchez no hit back in 06, September 6th.
Yeah, right on this mound.
One, two is off the end of the bat. Now, if this were last night, that ball would have rolled back fair and would have been a base hit, much like the Matt Young hit against Chris Volstad.
You know, it's extremely hard to do, but you have to get yourself back in that mindset that when you show up at the ballpark, you're going to find ways to win. Lately, the ball club has found ways to lose.
Well, the Marlins certainly did that in April and May, as you've pointed out. 7 of the 8 losses by 1 run. The Marlins were at one point 15-4 in 1-run games. A major league best at that point. But that changes, and this game changes in a hurry, folks. 1 week you can be up there in the power ratings. The next week you can take a tumble. There's a liner out in to left center field. Bonifacio picks it up. Drew with a big turn. Good throw by Bonifacio. If you've just joined us, Emilio Bonifacio is in center field. He's giving Chris Coughlin the day off. Coughlin has some pretty good company around baseball, though. There's some other guys that are getting days off. Ichiro gets the night off. He's been slumping. Jason Bay has been slumping. He gets the night off. And the Braves dealt another blow today when they had to place Martin Prado on the list with a staph infection in his right calf.
And he missed a couple of games here with that knee injury.
He had a procedure in Atlanta to clean out the infection, and he's now being treated with antibiotics.
I think it's good, too, seeing that shot of Chris Coughlin sitting next to Eduardo Perez, the new Marlins hitting coach. You know, he had a great relationship, Cogs did, with John Maley. And it's good to see that, you know, just get familiar, strike up another relationship. That's your new hitting coach.
And I think we saw Don Baylor. That was the home plate umpire, Phil Cuzzy, barking into.
I think he was sending a message over to Kirk Gibson,
the Arizona bench. We saw Don Baylor earlier in the ball game and talking about hitting coaches and relationships. And Baylor is one of those guys that is not a my way or the highway kind of hitting coach. He's very much a relationship type of guy. That one fouled back over the screen. And whether it's a hitting coach or a pitching coach, there's no real set formula for what works on one team will work on another team.
It depends on the mix of players, veterans, rookies, young players.
I'll tell you what, he still looks like he could still play. He presented the lineup out there at home plate.
I'd like to see him take a couple swings.
He was a terrific player. Drew's at first, the 1-2 coming. Got him. Down goes Chris Young.
Good job by John Buck to hang on to a foul tip. Good fastball. Buck hangs on and then alertly looks at first base to see where Drew is.
Here's Montero, the stocky catcher. Having a pretty good year offensively. Montero's time limited last year because of knee surgery. This is his 6th year as a Diamondback. It was Montero and Chris Snyder for many years. They kind of shared the catching duties. A liner to third. Helms across the diamond. How about that? Little things starting to turn a little bit here. Marlins get a 2-run homer and a nice double play to finish off the top of the 2nd. And in the right place at the right time was Wes Helms.
Well, Wes off the line with the left-hander up there, but I like Wes's reactions. Before he caught that ball, he knew he was going to make a throw across the diamond for a checkers double play of the game.
Joe Saunders, who did the belly flop on that awkward play on the sacrifice bunt off the bat of Omar Infante, gets Wes Helms, Ozzie Martinez, and the pitcher, Anibal Sanchez. Helms digs in. This is the type of guy that you like to get Helms in the lineup against. A soft tossing lefty. He dribbles that one out to Saunders, who shovels it to Miranda. And up comes Ozzie Martinez. You know, I'm reading this story on Martin Prado, and it was the Marlins medical staff that actually spotted the staph infection while he was here. And it sounds like it came from a strawberry, which is a baseball term for a skin knee when you slide, a skin burn. And the trainers and the Marlins doctors spotted it and immediately got him back to Atlanta. And he underwent a procedure to clean it up today and is undergoing therapy with antibiotics. So Ozzie is a quick out number 2.
So the Braves will be running out Jordan Schaefer, Matt Young, a little bit more.
You know how sometimes hitters will take a pitch or two to give the starting pitcher some rest? Sanchez is going to have to take a pitch or two to give himself some rest. Because the guys in front of him certainly didn't. Oh, 0-2.
See that sinking fastball, upper 80s. That's That's about it for Joe Saunders, but he mixes it up real well.
Saunders was a first-round draft pick out of Virginia Tech, 12th overall back in 2002. He had some good years as an Angel. And has a very good second inning here as a Diamondback. That would be a 7-pitch inning.
FC.
2-0. Marlins on top of the Diamondbacks. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, you guys know how popular, am I right? How popular that all-you-can-eat Fridays are? Yes?
Yes.
Well, you'll never guess who you can run into out here on these all-you-can-eat Fridays. If you walk along with me, these people look... Is that Larry? You look just like P.J. Loyola, David Sampson.
They're not eating, though.
Larry Bunt. What? Hello.
How you doing, Craig?
What are you doing out here?
We are trying to change things up and try to get a win.
I really thought this group was all-you-can-eat Friday, but there's no food here.
We tried to get a ball from Lomo in between innings. He didn't throw it up to us, so we'll have to get him next inning.
He's not kidding. David just walked down there screaming at him. Actually, Lomo's throw was off the mark, too, because he bounced back on the field.
Terrible. That's how things are going right now.
Well, you must have felt, because you guys did get here in the first inning.
No, we change it up once in a while and, just have a little fun and change it up for us and hopefully change it up for our guys. We need to win a game, and let's see if this will make it happen.
Close but no cigar. What does that mean to you? I mean, the games have been so tight. To lose these games that closely?
I'd rather not talk about it, but I've never seen anything like it, really. I mean, 8 games in a row, but 7 by 1 run is really unheard of. So, let's hope this holds on tonight. But it's unexplainable, really, in a lot of ways. I mean, this is a really good ball club, and to lose by 1 run, I don't have an answer. I don't think our players have an answer. I know Edmund doesn't have an answer, and we just need to win some games.
David, slide over one seat. I want to ask you one question. I'm just thinking about the left field view and how next year, this is going to be an amazing seat. I guess the pool's going to be in left field, and you'll be right on top of the action. Huh?
Well, these are great seats right where the bar will be, as well as the pool area. You'll be looking at the roof and at air conditioning, and hopefully Logan will get a ball up here next year, because I was down there cheering for it, and it didn't happen. But we're doing our best. It's a slump buster to sit here, and we like the group here. Everyone's happy to be here, and we're going to try to get a win.
Hopefully, just a last thought, JJ, any news on him? And Hanley's playing tonight in single A.
Hanley's playing tonight. Hopefully things will go well. He's DHing tomorrow night. The plan is for him to play shortstop. As far as JJ, we're just waiting on him to tell us, I feel okay, let's get on the mound, let's move forward. But we're going to be careful, take a little extra time with him.
No all you can eat for you guys are not taking advantage of it?
I'd rather not say. My wife is watching.
All right. Let him enjoy the game, because, you get bothered by these reporters all the time. Back to you guys.
Good work up there, Craig. Good work. That one pulled foul by Gerardo Parra.
You know what? Every time the Marlins go to to St. Pete and play the Rays. Larry Beinfest likes those seats out in way out in right center. Usually goes out and sits there with his family.
Nice changeup by Anibal Sanchez. That is strikeout number 2.
When we've seen Anibal have his best games, he's had that really good changeup working. He's had a couple of good ones tonight. By the way, Hanley 1 for 2 with a single in Jupiter so far.
So it's Saunders now. Sanchez starts him with a strike. A Stephen Drew single, all that the Diamondbacks have in their first time through against Sanchez. A Logan Morrison 2-run homer got the Marlins off to a quick start in the first. Morrison now with 8 home runs. Remember, he missed 3 weeks of action with that foot sprain. Two and 1. Sanchez has been the Marlins' best. He certainly was in the month of May. He misses low and inside. Looking to win his 6th game here tonight. Ryan Roberts on deck.
On Anibal, as he began this ball game with his ERA at 2.97, is in the top 10 in that category.
At the knees. So Sanchez 3 strikeouts first time through the Arizona lineup. We're headed to the bottom of the 3rd. Glad you're with us tonight in Miami. The Fish and the Snakes. It's 2-0.
Welcome back. Marlins lead 2-0 over the Diamondbacks, bottom of the 3rd, and that 2 runs were scored thanks to Logan Morrison, who puts the Fish up and also raised $11,000 for prostate cancer research. A big night for cancer research and awareness here on Fox Sports Florida. We are all wearing our Stand Up to Cancer pins, which we'll be wearing throughout the entire 2011 Major League Baseball season. It's part of our initiative to support Stand Up to Cancer and their efforts to fund groundbreaking research and accelerate treatment to patients. If you want more information, just go to standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. Marlins a 2-0 lead. Edwin Rodriguez, bench coach Brandon Hyde, the man that just walked through your picture, has given the Marlins the lead. And I think as Joe Saunders gets ready to go, you can't downplay the the opening at bat for the Fish against Saunders, and that was Bonifacio with a leadoff double. That got things started.
Yeah, we've seen Bonifacio at times how he can create so much excitement and get the energy going. You know, the amazing thing, 8 straight losses. There's a team that has more.
Yes.
The Oakland A's have lost 10 straight.
They lost their 10th in a row last night in Chicago. Marlins will see the Athletics in about 2 weeks on the Interleague West Coast Swing, which starts in Seattle, continues in Oakland, and then takes a detour to Texas. Be a little warm there.
What a variety of weather again on that trip.
Texas from, I think it's July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Marlins will be in Texas.
We'll get triple digits every day.
The team will be staying in Fort Worth. The games, of course, in Arlington.
Famous old hotel we're staying at.
I want to say at the Worthington. It was the hotel in which President Kennedy spent his last night before that fateful day in Dallas. Spoke at the breakfast in Fort Worth, and then took Air Force One to Love Field in Dallas. Three-two. Chopper, and there's no way they're going to get a Bonifacio. He may get 2 out of this. Takes the turn. He's going for it. Wow.
Man, we talked about excitement and what he can do.
He would have gotten second base automatically
because of the way he rounded first, and the first baseman, Juan Miranda, cannot block a player if you don't have an arm. He did it unintentionally, but I think the umpires picked that up. Bonifacio, watch him as he goes around first base. See, he has to stutter step and change his stride because Miranda was standing right on the bag in front of him.
And Bill Miller, the first base umpire, was all over it. He pointed at Miranda, and had Bonifacio been thrown out at second, he would have been awarded the base. Infante to right field. Bonifacio will tag up. Upton will load up. Good arm. Just a little off target, though. It's a good thing that Stephen Drew was out there as a cutoff man. That was about 20 feet wide of third. But Bonifacio is sitting in third again, and here comes Logan Morrison for the exact same AB he had in the first.
Well, again, a nice at bat by Omar Infante to move Bonifacio over to third. In the first inning, he did it with a sac bunt. That time he stayed back, hit the fly ball deep enough. Bonifacio now 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Gets that pitch, adjusts his swing. You really tell he's trying to hit the ball that way. And got it out to Upton in right field and got it deep enough. And you also had some speed. He had some speed he was working with at second base.
See the middle infield bat, corners in. Morrison against Saunders, part 2. Ground ball to Miranda. And Morrison is tagged out. And so it's up to Gabby Sanchez to deliver Bonifacio.
I think most of the time with 1 out, you would have a runner going on contact, but the ball was hit at Miranda so sharply and quickly that Bonifacio picked that up and knew that he'd be thrown out if he went. So in some cases, it's a judgment call when you're the runner.
From the windup, and the pitch is outside. And in some cases, too, especially with a left-handed hitter at the plate, teams would not have the first baseman in. So the Diamondbacks were gambling a little bit, opening up that right side, and it paid off. Tell you what, Saunders needs to take a peek over at Bonifacio if he's going to work from the windup. Emilio had a big lead on that last pitch.
A lot of pitchers nowadays work out of the stretch with a runner at third.
He bluffs. Gabby takes a strike. The thing that helps Bonifacio is that Ryan Roberts, the third baseman, is a good 25-30 feet away from the bag. Saunders checks. And Gabby pops it up. Miranda makes the catch. And the Marlins leave that runner at third. 2-0 pitch.
The Play Catch with Me, Gabby Sanchez sweepstakes. 2 winners will be selected to play catch on the field with me prior to the June 21st game against the Angels. Log on to JiffyLubeCatch.com today. Jiffy Lube, the official oil change of the Marlins.
See, just like that, Anibal Sanchez playing catch with Gabby Sanchez.
Made it look easy on an off-speed pitch, and Roberts hit the little tapper.
I thought you were going to say
changeup.
I thought you were going to say Gabby made it look easy reading the promo.
He did. He did. Nice and relaxed. And a quick out.
Kelly Johnson steps in. Sanchez and the rest of the Marlins will be without Leo Nunez for a few more days. Still nursing a back injury, which he tweaked warming up in the 10th inning a couple nights ago. The Marlins feel Monday he will be back. You definitely want him back for Philadelphia.
Yeah, you definitely are going to need Leo Nunez in that series in Philly, 4 games in 3 days.
That's why I think it's so important that the Marlins right the ship in this series, that they win some ball games before they get to Philadelphia. 1-2 to Kelly Johnson. Got him. Nasty stuff again tonight from Anibal Sanchez. Let's do some phone flipping. AT&T trivia questioning. The 2 Diamondbacks to win Gold Gloves. Did Matt Williams win one at third base?
I think his Gold Glove days were in San Francisco.
Okay. Eric Burns win one?
No. No, but I think you're on to something in the outfield. Steve Finley.
Yes.
Outstanding center fielder.
Underrated center. Underrated player. He had a career. If you look at Steve Finley's numbers, his numbers are almost identical to Bernie Williams' numbers. And, you know, I think if you ask most fans who was a better player, Bernie Williams or Steve Finley, they'd go with Bernie Williams.
And Steve Finley was every bit as good a center fielder.
Williams had more opportunities in the postseason. Finley, when he had opportunities in the postseason, played well. So Finley would be one.
That would be one guess, yeah.
Foul back. Did Mark Grace win a Gold Glove at first?
I think his Gold Glove days were in Chicago.
Two. Oh, Sanchez is carving up some really good hitters here. Getting Johnson and Upton here in the fourth. FPL is constantly working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient to offer reliable service today and for years to come. Visit FPL.com to learn more. In Miami tonight, the Marlins lead the Diamondbacks by a 2-0 score. Logan Morrison's 2-run homer, the only scoring in the ball game. Mike Stanton, John Buck, and Wes Helms coming up. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini with you tonight. There's a pop, and it's going to end up fouling out of play. AJ Speaks is our producer. Jim Holley, our critically acclaimed director. Ken Lee, our graphics guru. Bill Wadlick on the bass drum and Foxbox. I'm going to go with one of Jim Holley's favorite players as another Gold Glove candidate, and that's the O-Dog.
Oh, that's a good guess. That's a good guess.
Jim loves the O-Dog.
By the way, AJ Speaks off a heat downer from last night. So trying to recover.
1-1 in the dirt, and it's 2-1. He has company. That was a tough loss.
So many, they decided not to come to the game tonight.
You're a funny guy, Tommy Hutton.
Hey, it's a Friday night. What else you got to do?
You're a funny guy. 3-1 the count. See what Stanton gets from Saunders. Thought about it.
He's really thrown a lot of changeups. It gives you an idea of his feeling of the changeup, because there's a 3-1 pitch. It wasn't a good one and probably missed, and yeah, it did.
Chopper towards short. Drew gets around it and throws Stanton out. Back to our phone flipping. Gold Glovers for the Diamondbacks. Alan Trammell is looking for him right now. You got Steve Finley. I got the O-Dog.
I did a quick little research. Steve Finley had 2,548 hits. Bernie Williams had 2,336 hits. Finley had 304 home runs. Bernie Williams had 287. Their RBIs, Finley had about 90 less, but think of all the teams that Bernie Williams played on. Steve Finley had 320 stolen bases. Bernie Williams had 147. Lifetime average, Bernie had him by about 25 points.
Finley won some Gold Gloves. Bernie Williams won more Gold Gloves. I would think 7 for Bernie Williams, 6 or 7 Gold Gloves.
Just 4.
Just 4. So Steve Finley probably statistically a better player.
Yeah.
Than Bernie Williams, but not a lot of people would think that. Finley spent a lot of time with the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Both great players, though. The 2-2.
And of course, Bernie Williams, a big part of the Yankees championship run,
and had some great postseasons.
Yes, he did,
and certainly more accomplished in the postseason.
And both class guys. Have you ever had a chance to meet both of them?
Buck drives it into right center. Chris Young covers a lot of ground. What's the poll question tonight? Tickets of America brings you. Best Marlin to come out of the Arizona Diamondbacks system. Brad Penny, Dan Uggla. I would go with B. Dan Uggla's hit more home runs.
I think I would too.
Than any second baseman in baseball since he walked into the game.
By the way, Steve Finley, 5 Gold Gloves.
Glenn Geffner with a write-in vote for that poll question.
Yeah, what about Bonifacio?
He would be in the others receiving votes category. Helm swings and misses at a fastball.
Now here's a part in the game. There's Bonnie, who's had a nice game, a couple doubles, scored a run. You can't rest on your first inning laurels. No. You have to keep pushing. Because all of a sudden Joe Saunders is settling into his game.
Young runs that one down. And a 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 in a row set down by Saunders. Pointed out, that's not a safe thing. Got to add on because the Diamondbacks can score some runs. Stephen Drew.
Yeah, you look at the way that Anibal Sanchez is pitching and you go, hey, 2 runs probably be enough, but you never can score enough runs.
Chris Young, Miguel Montero to follow.
But so far the best pitch for Sanchez has been lots of strikes. But if you break it down pitch-wise, he's had a good changeup tonight.
Diamondbacks in an interesting spot. They're in second in the West. Kirk Gibson's team, the first team in Major League history in the month of May to start things 6.5 games out of first place and then make a nice run and get into first place. The Marlins, when they face the Diamondbacks in Arizona, were facing a first place team.
Yeah, and right now they're just a game behind San Francisco. Got to have help.
High pop.
Time.
Morrison settles under it, makes the catch.
Bonifacio did a good job. He raced into shallow left field and was pointing all the way to help out Morrison. Or Ozzie, excuse me. Bonifacio was over there too from center field.
He was racing.
Yeah, anybody on a pop fly or a fly ball at this time of night, you've got to help those outfielders.
Now Chris Young settles in. Our Toyota trend currently 34-29. A year ago today, 24-37. Last year the Diamondbacks lost 97 games. They lost 92 games the year before that.
Yeah, this year, Rich, they've played their share of one-run games as well. They're 14-8 in one-run games. So they've played a lot of close games.
As I mentioned, they had a stretch where they lost 6 one-run games in a row, much like this Marlin losing streak. Ground ball short. Ozzie gobbles it up. Good strong throw.
But I tell you what, they had a stretch of. They also had a stretch from May 14th through May 30th where they went 15-2, and that will right the ship.
Ian Kennedy, Javi Vasquez tomorrow night.
Marlins will see 3 of the pitchers they saw in Arizona. They'll see Daniel Hudson the next night. Then they'll see Zach Duke in the finale of this series. Of course, they've seen Zach Duke over the years with Pittsburgh.
I know you and I are disappointed that the Marlins won't get to face Josh Colmenter.
I don't think the hitters are, though.
I know. The hitters are okay with that. Colmenter has been a terrific addition with his funky release point. The big right-hander is on a historic run to open up his career. He's allowed 4 earned runs on 20 hits in his first 6 starts. And according to Elias, he's the only pitcher to do this in his first 6 starts since earned runs were recorded back in 1912.
I mean, that's Fernando-esque or Mark the Bird Fidrich type. I think a lot of it has gotten a little bit lost because he started the year in the bullpen.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen him throw, we'll try to dig up some footage. It's a delivery that you just don't see in baseball. Not over the top, but way over the top, almost over his head. Anibal Sanchez has been splendid tonight as he strikes out Miguel Montero. Sanchez and the Marlins on top, 2-0.
starting 2 hours prior to any home game to receive a $10 discount on up to 8 infield box seats. Offers cannot be combined and is subject to availability. Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Get in the game.
Gabby Sanchez doing a great job. And Tommy, what happened to your partner up there?
Well, my partner, Craig, is on his way out to left field down in the corner, and between innings he will pull down another countdown game. It'll go down to number 44. It's unbelievable.
I don't know if Allison has done that. Now that makes the three of us have had the honor.
We've had the honor, and Ozzie Martinez has the honor of taking ball one from Joe Saunders.
0 for 1 in the game, first start of the season for Ozzie Martinez.
He's always one of those players, Craig, that when he appears in a game and he gets an opportunity to start, it seems like good things happen. And we were kidding with Edwin. We said, Ozzie will have some things happen tonight. And he said, yeah, make sure they're good things, though.
2-0 pitch. He takes on the corner, 2-1. And look at that.
See, there we go.
Base hit to center field for Ozzie Martinez. So good start for the Marlins here at the bottom of the 5th inning. Hey, it's tough, Tommy, for any player to come in and get that one at bat late, sometimes a crucial situation. And to get a couple of at-bats can help you.
We've seen it a lot with guys who haven't gotten an opportunity to play a lot. Scott Cousins has been one, and you like to get them in, but because of the nature of the way the club's been playing, it's been hard to get those guys in games.
Joe Saunders throws over. His Anibal shows bunt, obviously, here. Marlins have done a nice job moving runners over in this game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's to try to add on, and it's a good opportunity with the leadoff base hit by Ozzie. Good job there by Anibal.
Excellent bunt by Sanchez. Tommy, in the first inning, normally you don't like to see a guy bunt, but I think in this spot it's a good play when Infante bunted Bonifacio. First of all, he nearly beat it out, and secondly, when you're having trouble scoring, moving that guy over 90 feet, I thought that was a good play.
Well, yeah, and especially moving the runner from second to third to get him at third base with less than 2 out, and the fact that the Marlins had gone a week without taking a lead. The last time they had a lead, they scored a run in the first inning against Milwaukee.
So here's Emilio, 2 doubles in the game. Different variety. Line drive on one. The other was a bouncer, used his speed. Takes a strike.
The other one, he used the bouncer, his speed, and a nice screen set by Juan Miranda, the first baseman. Or as our producer, AJ Speaks, would refer to it as a nice pick and roll.
I thought he would have had to be read as Miranda writes.
A lot of off-speed stuff. I think more off-speed stuff we've seen from Saunders tonight than we saw in Arizona. A lot of breaking balls and changeups.
1-1 on Bonifacio. Scored one of the 2 runs. Morrison hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first. Breaking ball is down low.
As we mentioned earlier, Craig, it's a situation for Bonifacio that if you had Hanley playing every day at short, we'd see Bonifacio spelling guys at different positions.
That's out and away, and that's probably a better suited role too for Emilio.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as an everyday shortstop, we've seen his average take a tumble downward. Coming into this game, he had a 2 for 22 going. So he's best suited when he spot starts, and then when you have him on the bench, you have a more versatile bench too.
Yeah, he's a weapon. Three and 1 to Bonifacio. Of the Marlins, 5 hits in the game. 4 of them for extra base hits. 3 doubles and the home run by Morrison. And a good work for the walk for Emilio Bonifacio. Sets things up for Omar Infante, first and second.
And really, when you think about it, Infante, look at how Rich is concentrating, just getting ready to pull down the number. He's trying to stay focused down there in the left field corner.
Yeah.
Thing about Infante, he dropped down that nice bunt. He hit the ball well to right field to move a runner over to third. He's seen the ball tonight. He's had good at bats, so that bodes well as he steps in here.
Yeah, the other night he bunted when the Marlins were down by 3. I think it was in the 3rd inning.
And Edwin didn't care for that.
He was not happy about that at all. In fact, the Marlins actually have a sign to drive the ball, to not hit or try to just move a guy over. And Infante did not pick that sign up. Takes a strike. But I'm sure Edwin had no problem with the bunt in the 1st inning tonight. In fact, it may have even been a sign play.
Oh, I'm sure in the 1st inning he was bunting.
Yeah.
Coming into the game, too, 4 for 9 against Joe Saunders.
Marlins laying off that off-speed pitch out of the strike zone, so it's 1-1.
If you make Saunders bring the ball up and stay off that slop, as hitters call it, then you have a better chance.
Slop is the way to describe what? The last week and a half. It's been a mess for the Marlins. There's a good drive by Infante, and it is foul. He whipped it.
Yeah, he talked about how he's really looked comfortable up there and had good swings. And he just missed a 3-run shot.
He had a better angle of that from the first base location where I'm filling it for Rich here. That was very close.
And I think Rich had a really good angle down in that left field corner as well.
Made a play on it.
And it was foul. That much.
There
All right.
you go.
Thanks, partner.
Missed it by that much. One-two pitch, little flare to center. It's going to drop for a hit. Runners will go up a base. That's all they can go, as there was a threat of that ball being grabbed. So bases loaded now for Logan Morrison.
That's funny. There's an old saying that would apply to Infante on that base hit. He hit it the way Saunders threw it. A little slop pitch off speed. He gets jammed and just bloops it over the head of Drew, the shortstop. And because it just got over his head, Ozzie had to hold at second base. He had to make sure that ball was gonna drop before he scampered over to third.
So here's Lomo, homered in the 1st, his 8th homer of the year. And then the one bat he'd like to have back was with Bonifacio on 3rd. In the 3rd inning with 1 out, he had a soft ground to first, could not plate the run.
Tell you quietly, Omar Infante on this homestand with all the losses and all the focus on the runners in scoring position. Quietly, Omar Infante has hit .333, 10 for 30 on the homestand.
Well, Marlins came into this game hitting .175 in the last 13 with runners in scoring position. And that's that streak of 2 wins and 11 losses in those 13 games. And you can directly point to that number.
Well, a lot of opportunities tonight for Logan Morrison. He capitalized in the 1st inning with that 2-run shot. He had an opportunity in the 3rd with Bonifacio at 3rd and 1 out. And had 1 hopper to first base.
The Marlins are now 1 for 5 on a quick check with runners in scoring position in this game tonight. Fastball inside, 2-1 now to Morrison.
Yeah, notice the off-speed stuff Saunders uses a lot to right-handers, the changeup. He likes that sweeping breaking ball and fastball to lefties.
What do you think he's going to see here in 2-1?
He has confidence in his off-speed stuff.
That's what he threw,
yeah.
And it was a good pitch.
Boy, that's nasty.
So 2-2.
That's a pitcher's pitch. May have been out of the zone. We'll get a better look on Fox Tracks. That borderline right there. Pretty good. But a pitcher's pitch.
That one missed. Now it's full.
Now it's really interesting to see what he goes with 3-2 with the bases loaded.
Bags are loaded. Martinez is on third. Bonifacio is on second. Infante is on first. Rich Walt's been calling the games. Hasn't called many runs in the last week and a half or so for the Marlins.
We'll keep him down the left field corner.
He's going to stay there. Ground ball hit the second, 4-6-3. And that's how it's been going for the Fish. Double play ends the frame, and it stays 2-0 after 5. And Rich Waltz, Billy the Marlins celebrating home game number 45 and the countdown. Cue him. Tommy, cue him.
All right, cue it up. Cue it up, partner. There you go.
And here it goes.
Number 45 quickly becomes number 44.
There it goes. Juan Miranda off for Arizona. Rich will be back to the mic in just a moment.
I'm with you, Craig. You were talking about it last night, how kind of forget to look out there at that number, and then all of a sudden you look up there and it's at 44.
It's hard to believe. That's it for regular season anyhow. Miranda having a good road trip, 4 for 10 on the road trip.
You know, he was one guy the Marlins handled pretty well in Arizona. He was just 1 for 11 in that series at Chase Field.
D-backs turning things around under Kirk Gibson. A couple of straight 90-loss seasons. Last place. Sanchez gets him swinging, 1-2.
Had a great talk with one of Kirk Gibson's coaches, Alan Trammell, tremendous player in his own right. And he talked about the makeup of the club, the way he has these guys playing hard every night. So Trammell, a former big league manager himself.
Kind of the characteristics of their coaching staff. And one of the things Gibson told us today, 1-2 pitch taken for strike 3. Miranda did not like the call. And another strikeout for Anibal Sanchez.
So many times tonight, Anibal Sanchez, who has a great changeup, has been able to freeze a hitter with his fastball. He's gotten strikeouts with the changeup, but often after seeing the changeup, he's able to freeze that hitter and blow the fastball by him.
7th strikeout and 3 looking. You know what Gibson said is it started in spring trainings that the coaching staff would get there 5:30, 5:45, get in their workouts early and kind of set the tone. He said guys started to trickle in earlier and earlier. And kind of we want to set by example, hard work.
Yeah, we talked about it in Arizona. It's an all-star coaching staff with guys like Trammell, Matt Williams, Don Baylor, EY, Eric Young, first base coach. Charles Nagy's their pitching coach.
Line shot. Caught! What a catch at second base by Omar Infante, robbing Gerardo Parra.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of everything tonight, Omar Infante. And that's the way he quietly has gone about his business this entire year. And we will say goodbye, Craig, because Rich Waltz has returned to the booth.
He's got great speed. Take it away, Rich.
I brought something for you, Hut.
Yeah, look it.
I don't know if you guys can get a shot of this up here after this pitch, but it just says a token of my appreciation. Uh-oh. In a right field. Stan's trying to cut it off. He can't. It goes all the way to the wall. And Joe Saunders got himself a base hit. Here it is, number 45.
You made it up here fast.
I did, although yeah, I have to be honest with you.
There you go.
I did stop and get a yogurt.
Nice job.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to keep this. Now, you had to, what number did you tear down?
Yeah, I have to go look. I forgot. Sorry.
Got to get it up in the garage.
I know.
That's where this is going.
I think the crack staff at home is telling me 71.
Nice. Well, it's still 2-0. I had a great view of that Omar Infante fly ball down the left field line, which was just foul.
Well, unfortunately, we had a really good view of the 4-6-3 double play.
Yeah.
And it kind of fizzled an opportunity. It's been a night where Logan Morrison, who hit the 2-run homer, has had chances his next 2 ABs. He could very easily have 4 RBIs in this game.
But of course, he's the only guy that has done the damage with that first inning home run. And Anibal Sanchez has just been terrific trying to hang on to this 2-0 lead. Breaking ball in the dirt. Buck blocks it, doesn't see it. And Joe Saunders, sensing that, ends up at third base.
Well, just 2 hits for Arizona. They've been hit pretty well. The single by Stephen Drew, but the double by Saunders probably hit the best.
Sanchez 7 strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody. 1-2, make it 8 strikeouts. Down goes Ryan Roberts. Through 6, Anibal Sanchez hanging on to a 2-0 lead. This was the play by Joe Saunders on the bunt by Omar Infante. Freeze it. Flying through the air, he makes a nice backhanded flip to Juan Miranda to get the out. That came in the first inning. Logan Morrison would follow with a 2-run homer. And that's all the scoring we've had tonight. The Frostbrewed Coors Light Freeze Cam. On a night where Saunders has settled into the ball game. He got that double play ball to get himself out of trouble in the bottom of the fifth. Anibal Sanchez has struck out 8 and given up just 2 hits.
Yeah, we talked about how Saunders has had trouble in the first inning. This is his 13th start of the year, and he's allowed 14 first inning runs. And you're right, he has settled down.
Javi Vasquez-like numbers. Vasquez gets the ball tomorrow against Ian Kennedy.
You know, seeing that shot of Anibal Sanchez and realizing when you look at the
off the end of the bat, Gabby yanks one into left field for a base hit.
You look at the Philadelphia box score. Roy Halladay is pitching tonight, so there's a chance one of those games Wednesday, the split doubleheader, we could see a Halladay-Sanchez matchup.
I think one of the questions that has to be asked too is who's going to start. The Marlins have already brought up Brad Hand to join the rotation. But they're going to need another starting pitcher unless they go with a bullpen game because of the day-night doubleheader.
And it's tough to do that in Philadelphia with that ballpark, the way they score, to go with the bullpen game. You're going to need that bullpen the entire series.
Here's Stanton. Gabby's at first. Saunders has stayed away from Stanton. Mike doubled in the first inning, and he bounced out back in the fourth. His double was down the left field line. That's exactly where they've pitched him tonight, 2-0.
By the way, speaking of first inning runs, Javier Vasquez has allowed 18 first inning runs.
Phillies off to a 3-0 start against the Cubs. Dominic Brown is finally back and healthy, and he's homered. That's in the 6th inning. Phillies over the Cubs in Philadelphia. Saunders being very careful with Stanton, and he's gone 3-0.
Yeah, we have not seen this year. We saw him a little bit last year, Dominic Brown, but we've not seen him this year because of his injury.
Mets are beating Pittsburgh 7-1. That's in the 6th. Stanton to left. Look out, Larry Beinfest. 2-run shot. 15th of the season. 4-0 Marlins.
And that's why you give Big Mike the green light, 3-0. And that's a real builder in confidence because, number one, he got a good pitch, 3-0 to hit. He had a good swing. He didn't go out of the strike zone. And it's going to be our Coors Light Cold Heart Blast. Green light for Mike on 3-0, and it's home run number 15.
I'm a little disappointed that Larry Beinfest, P.J. Loyola, and David Sampson didn't make a play on that ball up there. Buck to right field. That ball's well hit. Back goes Upton. That ball's gone. Back to back. Stanton and Buck.
Can we all just take a deep breath right now and breathe easy? You know, last night, Stanton and Buck almost went back to back, and Buck's ball hit off the left field wall. But we've seen John Buck drive some ball. This is very similar to the home run he hit in Arizona to right field. So for John Buck, home run number 7.
I want to say 5 of the 7 have been to right field, or so it seems. Helms takes down low. So Stanton's 15th, Buck's 7th. Helms takes away, and it's 2-0. Marlins picked a good night to be involved in the home run challenge. Each home run tonight, the Marlins have hit 3 worth $11,000, so $33,000 has been raised to support prostate cancer research. Make a donation yourself, 800-798. Go online, pcf.org. Helms to center field. The ballpark will hold it. Chris Young is there, and he makes the catch. Our crack staff has confirmed what we suspected, Tommy. John Buck's home runs this year, 1 to left, 1 to center, 5 to right.
His grand slam opening day, right field.
Here's Ozzie, who singled back in the 5th. And Saunders throws a strike. Saunders at 91 pitches. No one has budged in the Arizona bullpen.
Got to go back to May 13th, the last time the Marlins homered 3 times in a game in Washington.
Charles Nagy, who has certainly a star-crossed history with the Marlins and this ballpark. Ground ball up the middle. Kelly Johnson over to first. Nagy, of course, part of that Cleveland Indian rotation back in the 90s, and in 97 Edgar Renteria lining one back up the box. Craig Counsell, whom we just saw, scampered home.
Yeah, Nagy started game 3. That was that wild game in Cleveland. The Marlins won 14-11. And then was a losing pitcher. An inning out of the bullpen. But a tremendous career. 129 career wins for Nagy.
Our good friend Mark Wiley was a pitching coach of the Tribe.
As everybody in this game remembers, he could probably tell you the exact pitch that was hit, where it was, what the count was.
Sanchez ends up at first base. Didn't Tony Fernandez make an error at second base? That was key in that.
Very key.
Now the phone rings. Glenn Sherlock, the bullpen coach, answers.
That's interesting. Keep in mind, Saunders had that double last inning. Had to run hard to get to second base. Got over to third on a wild pitch. So he might be running out of gas a little bit here in this inning.
Closing in on 100 pitches. Well, a night off for Chris Coughlin means Emilio Bonifacio in the leadoff spot. And boy, has he ever responded. Couple of doubles. And he walked in the 5th. So he's been on base all 3 times.
And the Marlins tonight have spread the wealth around. Everybody in the lineup except Wes Helms. And Wes hit that ball well his last time up. But everybody in the lineup with a base hit except Uncle Wes.
Mike Stanton has a couple. And misses away to Bonifacio. Logan Morrison with a 2-run homer. Stanton with a 2-run homer. Buck with a solo shot. 3 doubles for the Fish. 3 homers for the Marlins. Marlins will see another lefty in this 4-game series. Scheduled to throw on Monday is Zach Duke, the former Pirate, against Ricky Nolasco.
You know, the other thing, Rich, with the home run and the double by Mike Stanton, he moves up on that extra base hits list with 31. So Fielder, Kemp, Chris Young, Jose Reyes, Beltran, and then Mike Stanton on that list. Actually, Stanton's gone ahead of Beltran, tied with Reyes.
Bonifacio swings and misses. And the inning ends, but the Marlins put 3 big ones up on the board. Mike Stanton, a 2-run shot.
And several other areas are close to capacity, so secure your seats today. Call New Marlins Ballpark Sales Center at 1-877-411-2012 or marlins.com/new ballpark.
I do think Gabby Sanchez is the best guy that we've had to read the promos.
Yeah, outstanding.
Ever.
Hey, Gabby went to class.
5-0. Marlins on top. Well, another UM alum will join us. Allison Williams. Did you go to class, Allie?
Absolutely. I never missed a class. All right, so maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. But I did go to class, and someone else who I'm sure did as well. Angel Aloma, Executive Director of Food for the Poor, and it's a great organization that teamed up with the Remember last year the Homes for Haiti initiative that the Marlins did to help the earthquake victims in Haiti. And Angel, what a neat experience to see that initiative all come together in May as you got to visit Haiti. Tell us about your experience in May.
Well, actually, it was wonderful to see the trauma that the Marlins who went down before experienced, and then to see the fulfillment of the dream, and to be able to give all those people who are living in tents and who are living in huts and in horrible conditions, to see them actually go into a solid home, 41 two-room homes, and be able to dream again about the future. That was so exciting. The people were bursting with energy when the Marlins got there. And they were just so besides themselves. For the first time, they were living in a home with cement floor, with concrete block walls, with corrugated zinc in the top, and with a door that opened and had a key. We had to teach some of them how to use a key because they had never used a key before in their lives.
That is amazing. And it's called Inspiration Village.
Inspiration Village, and they built a community center for people to be able to get skills and to be trained in different ways, for the kids to be able to study there, and also a water project that gives them as much as 10,000 gallons of purified water every single day. So the mothers there no longer have to worry about their children dying from drinking contaminated water.
So amazing. And I know a lot of Marlins fans donated to the cause, thankfully so, because it had such a tremendous impact. What for you was the most impactful part of the experience?
I think to see them go on that first trip. I know Angela from Community Relations and the catcher, John Baker. They were so overcome with emotions that they were just, I mean, Angela, I thought was going to get dehydrated, the amount of crying she was doing. And then to see the tears of happiness on the second trip, the joy that they experienced. Angela did not want to leave. They only got to spend 3 hours there, but she didn't want to leave. She wanted to spend 10 hours there to spend the day. And that was wonderful to see, you know, that they saw their work their original work come to fruition, come to fulfillment in that manner.
As Justin Upton gets a triple here, and Homes for Haiti has kind of come to a culmination, but Food for the Poor, ongoing effort. How can fans continue to support your cause?
If they go on our website, www.foodforthepoor.org, they can contribute to anything, to food, to water, to housing, to any of our projects. But I don't think the Marlins are finished with us yet. I think we'll continue in this collaboration for a long time.
Yep, Marlins.com/Homes for Haiti if you want to continue to give. And what a great cause. Angel, thank you so much for the time.
My pleasure.
Rich, Tommy, back to you guys.
Thank you, Allison. Nicely done. Stephen Drew's at the plate after the Justin Upton triple. The Diamondbacks with their best opportunity to get on the board against Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez has been dominant in this one. 8 strikeouts, no walks, and only the 3 hits. Drew a single in the second. Infield is back with 1 out. Swing and a miss. To Allison's interview, I can remember speaking with John Baker when he returned from that trip to Haiti, and he talked about just the utter poverty, families living on essentially piles of garbage down in Haiti. Here's the 1-1. So to hear all the efforts come to fruition and for them actually to have houses to live in.
That's fantastic to hear, and just shows what a major league team, your major league team, can do for others, not only in the community but in areas that have suffered.
High pop-up down the line. It's going to be a foul ball just out of the reach of Wes Helms.
Yeah, this is a situation where Anibal Sanchez would love to get a strikeout, and oddly enough, Stephen Drew's the only hitter in the lineup. He hasn't struck out tonight.
Count 2-2. Sanchez living at 88 pitches right now. Drew a solid single into right field. That'll bring home Arizona's first run of the night. So up comes Chris Young.
Yeah, now Anibal Sanchez is going to have to get back into that groove. The pitch that Upton hit for the triple was a pretty good fastball, but it was up just a little, and he was able to stay back and hit it well down the first baseline. Marlins bullpen will get busy.
Randy St. Clair on his way out to the mound. Tommy, what are you doing tomorrow at noon?
Probably having lunch.
Well, come on down to the Best Buy in Davie tomorrow at noon, because Josh Johnson will be there, Billy the Marlin, the Mermaids will be there, and Josh will be posing for pictures, signing some autographs. It all benefits the Marlins Community Foundation. And remember, from the Ford Fantasy Auction, we have the raffle tickets to sell for the Ford Fiesta. Well, you can buy raffle tickets for $100, a 1 in 300 chance to win a brand new Ford Fiesta. And they've got a few more of those Logan Morrison pledge packs down there as well. Get down from noon to 1:30 at the Best Buy in Davie. That's 2200 South University Drive in Davie at the new Best Buy tomorrow. JJ, the Mermaids, Billy and the Marlin. That one fouled into the seats. Chris Young at the plate. An 0 for 2 night for Young. Young, an all-star last year, a year in which he hit 27 homers, drove in 91, almost stole 30 bases, ended up with 28. And he led the National League in range factor out there in center field. And there's a lot of ground to cover in Arizona.
Yeah, they have a talented, speedy outfield with Parra in left, and then Young in center and Upton in right. Those 3 guys can cover a lot of ground, which you need to do at Chase Field.
That's going to be a premium in the Marlins new ballpark as well. It's not going to be as spacious as, say, Chase Field or Coors Field, but it will have its big gaps and large alleys with distances similar to this stadium. Can't call this a ballpark.
No, we're moving into a ballpark.
That one hooked foul. Hey, Michael Hill has joined them now up there.
Hey, the real test is tomorrow night. Will those guys be out there tomorrow night if the Marlins win this game here?
Oh, they better be. They better be.
And then the ultimate test
on Sunday.
On Sunday, day game.
If the Marlins win 2 in a row and it's a day game.
Yeah, we're all over those guys. They have to be there.
P.J. Loyola, David Sampson, Larry Beinfest, Michael Hill trying to shake things up, and so far it's working. 0-2. Chris Young got off to such a good start when he came over from the White Sox, had that big 2007. He's one of the guys that Kirk Gibson has really tried to stay on in terms of cutting down on his strikeouts.
Came over in the Javier Vasquez deal.
To left, Morrison a few steps back, makes the catch. Couple outs here in the 7th. And here is Miguel Montero. I think the one thing we can say for sure about the Diamondbacks, they have certainly changed the culture of their team. And a lot of that obviously goes to Kirk Gibson. But his staff is filled with hard-nosed guys that played the game right. No-nonsense guys. Matt Williams, his third base coach. Nagy, the pitching coach. Alan Trammell, his bench coach. Don Baylor, his hitting coach. To center, Bonifacio going back. That's hit deep at the track, and it's gone. A long home run by Miguel Montero. And what was a 5-0 lead is now 5-3.
Down on the field, it's extremely windy. It's hard to tell from up here. This ball was hit well. There's no question about that. But Montero, actually, he knew that he hit it well. And you don't usually know it when you go to straightaway center field here. To get one back on that blue tarp.
And Edwin's coming out, and Sanchez is done for the night. So just like that, the Diamondbacks knock out the starting pitcher and also chip in another 11,000 for the home run challenge.
Who you gonna call?
After giving up the 2-run homer to Miguel Montero and giving up 3 runs in the 7th, still the Marlins have a 5-3 lead. And we're going to see how the Marlins handle this from here on out, Tommy, because obviously they're without Clay Hensley, their 8th inning guy. He's on the disabled list, and they're without Leo Nunez for the next few days.
You and I were discussing between innings. It gets to that 9th inning closer spot. Who will Edwin go with? Could go with a Ryan Webb. Could go with a hot Steve Cishek, the way he's been throwing.
Well, Dunn is the first man over the ropes. And here is Juan Miranda. Or excuse me, Xavier Nady.
Xavier Nady.
Nady hits a ball to right field. That's deep. Back goes Stanton. Xavier Nady to right field. And the Diamondbacks are within a run. Back-to-back homers by Arizona.
Well, Xavier Nady gets his 4th pinch hit, but his first pinch hit home run of the year. His 2nd home run on the season, and I think you can see the ball is jumping.
Here's Gerardo Parra. And Dunn snaps off a breaking ball for a strike. So Xavier Nady runs the total even higher now. 55,000 we've raised to support prostate cancer research. It's a great promotion for hitters. Pitchers need some sort of incentive.
Yeah, for Mike Dunn now, he's allowed 5 home runs in under 30 innings.
Gets that fastball in on him. It's 0-2. Parra has struck out and lined out. Diamondbacks with a couple homers in this inning, and that one's going to nestle into left field, a base hit. Pitcher spot due up. Looks like Melvin Mora is going to take the at bat for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the veteran Melvin Mora seen his playing time diminish a little bit. But on the year, looking for his first home run, no home runs.
Mora, just a year shy of 40. Venezuelan has had a long and a very solid career. 10 years in Baltimore and was an all-star twice there. 2003, 2005. Ryan Webb starts to loosen up. This may be one of those games where a manager decides to save the game in the 7th or the 8th inning.
And the other thing too, we've seen Webb go more than 1 inning as well. So if he comes in the 8th and has a relatively easy inning, he could go back out there.
Ground ball up the middle. Infante with it. Going to go to first in time to get the out. But Arizona puts 4 big ones up on the board, and it's a 1-run game now.
Tap y es presentado por KFC. Cambios ahora, Cookie, aquí en el juego, pero antes.
A little dancing for our friends, Cookie and Raul.
Hey, can you name that dance?
Rich, how are you guys doing?
Can you name that dance, Rich?
The samba.
You're close. It's merengue.
Merengue.
Yeah, samba would be from Brazil.
And why do we know that you and Cookie can both do the merengue very well?
No, that's the easiest one, actually, of all the Spanish dances. So for sure, you hit it right on the head.
That is right.
Well, this has been a wild game. A 5-0 lead is all of a sudden down to 5-4.
Wow. Yes, it has. And we had a good beginning, right away with a home run by Logan Morrison. And then all of a sudden, we scored 3 more with 2 more home runs in the inning before. And you said, well, 5-0, we should have, with the way he was pitching, Sanchez, you figure this will be an easy game. And then all of a sudden, the power of this ball club is amazing. They're leading the league in home runs, and now it's a 1-run game.
Looks like the ball's really carrying well tonight, too.
Well, it seems like it changed, though. At the beginning, a couple of batted balls seem like they hit a wall or something, and all of a sudden it seems like they're flying out.
Especially the center field and right field.
Infante into center field. That's a solid base hit. Hey, the Marlins have scored 5 runs tonight. That's 1 more than they scored the entire series against Atlanta.
That is correct. I think that maybe that's the beginning of, getting away from that slump that we had. I mean, it's good to see them, all of a sudden reacting and hitting the ball the way they should.
All right, guys, have a good show.
You too, guys.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right.
Merengue.
We got to work on that, Rich.
Yes, we do. Logan Morrison has homered in 3 trips. This the first look at Esmerling Vasquez takes over for Joe Saunders.
Pretty good fastball. We saw his curveball. He threw 1 to Infante. And he has a changeup that he'll use, too.
All 3 of Morrison's at-bats have come with runners in scoring position. So a 2-run homer. He bounced to first back in the 3rd. That did not drive in the run from 3rd. And then a 4-6-3 double play ended a threat in the 5th.
Boy, that came with the bases loaded in the 5th inning.
Two-0 coming. Marlins saw Vasquez when the Fish were in Arizona. Infante with a couple of hits tonight.
And Infante's looked good tonight.
Yeah, because all of his at-bats have been good at-bats. A sacrifice bunt back in the 1st. Narrowly missed getting a base hit. It was such a good bunt. Morrison, a high fly ball to left. Parra is over. Then he makes the catch. Let's take a look at the upcoming Marlins schedule, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. We're back here tomorrow night for an Ian Kennedy Javier Vasquez matchup. Brad Hand's second big league start comes on Sunday. Zach Duke and Ricky Nolasco finish off the series. Just as we look forward to the upcoming schedule, you can live forward with Just for Men Hair Color. Gabby Sanchez 1 for 3. Singled and scored back in the 6th. Came in on the Mike Stanton 2-run homer.
There's that Vasquez changeup.
As steady as Gabby has been all year, you can even sense in this 8-game skid that he's pressing at the plate.
Well, and that's what happens because he knows he's been steady. He knows he's been a consistent run producer. And his average has been over 300 with runners in scoring position. So when he's seen others fail, all of a sudden he maybe subconsciously puts a little more pressure on himself.
One of the subtle changes in the lineup, which tonight had a bigger change at the top with Bonifacio leading off is the fact that Mike Stanton is behind Gabby Sanchez. So Stanton is in the 5 spot.
Gabby hit a couple of home runs in Arizona that series.
As I remember, they were both line drives.
Yeah, that one right down the line, left field line.
That pitch goes all the way to the screen. That's ball 4. That wasn't that bad a pitch, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that on Fox Tracks just to see how much it missed by, but it certainly wasn't caught by Montero. That didn't help. It's a strike.
That's and you're not going to get a strike call if you don't catch it.
That's a strike. But Montero obviously didn't frame it well. In fact, he didn't even glove it, let alone frame it. That shows you the importance of, when they talk about a catcher, is he a good catch and throw guy? The catch part of that being a good receiver. Stanton takes a fastball for a strike. Well, Mike is up again now with a couple runners aboard and 1 out. He's continued to be in the top 10 in slugging percentage in the National League, and tonight with a double and a homer, that'll help. Vasquez has gone down to the knees to get 2
fastballs as well. Yeah, Mike tied with Gabby Sanchez for the club lead in RBIs too, each with 38.
Stanton 6th in the National League in slugging percentage starting the night. And I'm not good enough to go around the league and add up everybody's extra base hits and figure out slugging percentage at the drop of a hat. You can do that with home runs.
I'm not even sure our crack staff is at on top of it.
Infante had the single after Morrison flied out. Gabby walked. 0-2 to Mike Stanton. Almost hit him. See if that sets up something soft on the outside part.
More than likely, yes.
Here's that 1-2 pitch. Fastball. Look out, folks. That's similar to the swing Stanton had the other night
against Kimbrel.
Yeah, which ended up in right field for a 2-run hit.
Yeah, it's a fastball that he's really just trying to protect the plate. The one off Kimbrel, he was able to get to right field and drive in 2 big runs.
You know, that's all right. That's a protective swing, fighting a fastball off on a breaking ball count. That was a fastball that just flat out was by him. John Buck. Buck's homer to right field, followed Stanton's shot. Both teams have had back-to-back homers, Stanton and Buck for the Marlins, Montero and Nady for the Diamondbacks. Breaking ball, driven into left center field. That's a base hit. Now chase home Infante. Gabby to third. Buck will stop after a big turn at first, and the Marlins tack on a run at 6-4.
How big are these 2-out base hits? You get 2-out base hits, they really pump you up. He got a hanging breaking ball, and John Buck was all over it, found that gap in left center. Good swing, big RBI, and a big run to answer back after the Diamondbacks got 4 last inning.
This is Wes Helms' spot in the lineup, but the Marlins would like another run, and with the right-hander on the mound, Helms is coming out, and Greg Dobbs is coming into the ball game. Dobbs, who has a bit of a sore thumb when he was hit by a pitch, which actually was ruled a ground ball in that check swing the other night, stands in. 2 outs, 2 on.
And the other thing, you have Chris Coghlan in the on-deck circle. So the fact that the Diamondbacks don't have a left-hander warming up the bullpen, if it gets that far, Edwin will be able to utilize a couple of left-handed bats.
Dobbs takes away from Vasquez. You even have Scott Cousins with the batting gloves on, just in case. Ask any pinch hitter, and he will tell you that if he's been getting regular at-bats as a starter, pinch hitting is not as big a chore or as tough an assignment. And Dobbs has been getting a ton of at-bats and has continued to deliver pinch hits when called upon when he doesn't get a start. Takes the changeup. Marlins with runners in scoring position tonight. Another right-hander. That's Brian Shaw.
He just joined the club today.
Strike from Vasquez.
Yeah, the only left-hander down in that bullpen is Joe Patterson.
Three-one count. Bucks at first. Gabby Sanchez at third. Dobbs drives it to left center. Hits it pretty well. Parra goes back, and he makes the catch. So the Marlins have to settle for that one insurance run. Is it enough? Find out. 6-4. Tonight, and this was his last start, flying through the air with a backhand flip. And tonight on the Infante bunt, hey, he's practiced this, and I think he's got it down now. Home Depot doing more on defense. Saunders a starter for Arizona. He's on the hook for the loss if the Marlins can hang on to this 6-4 lead. 8th inning. John Buck driving in that extra run. Here come the changes for the Marlins with the pinch hitting appearance. Coghlan doesn't pinch hit, but he does come in.
Bonifacio moves in from center field to shortstop, changes gloves. And Greg Dobbs, after his pinch hit appearance, Dobbs stays in the game at third base.
And Ryan Webb comes out of the bullpen. So you would have Coughlin leading off in the bottom half of the inning, and then the pitcher spot still second, correct?
I would think that they don't have it that way up on the scoreboard. They try to put him in positions, but I don't know if that's correct. I would agree with you. It's just another interesting decision that...
which means Webb is not going to pitch in the ninth.
It does if that's the case, yeah. That could, because that's the thing I was thinking. If Webb has a nice, easy inning, you could send him back out there. But probably not the case.
He's got Ryan Roberts. He's got the top of the order for the Diamondbacks, and he misses with a breaking ball on 0-2. Roberts, Kelly Johnson, Justin Upton. The Diamondbacks erupting for 4 runs in the 7th. Three of those against starter Anibal Sanchez. Pretty good pitch by Webb. Kind of shakes his head a bit. Let's take a look. Dial it in on Fox Track. It was outside. Good call by Phil Cuzzy. Fly ball left center, long run, and no one's going to get there. To the track it goes. Coughlin picks it up. Roberts is digging for third, and he's going to get there with a triple. And so Arizona is in business here in the 8th.
Well, that fastball came back. It stayed up. If that fastball is down, it's probably a lot better pitch, and Roberts doesn't get the same result. But he hit it in that spot where there's a lot of room. He has speed. He ends up at third base. Now you have to play for outs. You have to not worry about him and just get outs here in this inning.
I think you just heard Phil Cuzzy say that's right, he's 8th. And I don't know if he was talking about Webb or Coughlin, but I think the Arizona bench wanted confirmation as to where the Marlins have their hitters slotted on this change. Kelly Johnson. Randy Choate and Steve Cishek.
Decent inning together with those guys.
Marlins may have to piece this inning together. Good pitch by Webb. 0-2. Kelly Johnson had the big series when the two teams met about 10 days ago. 3 homers, 2 triples, and a double. Arizona's ballpark, one of the best triples parks in baseball.
Yeah, I would say there, certainly at Coors Field in Denver. This one's pretty good.
Leadoff triple by Ryan Roberts for Arizona here in the 8th. Webb got him. Whatever Kelly Johnson was looking for, it wasn't that.
Yeah, this is just a good, hard two-seam fastball that comes back over the plate. Kelly Johnson may have been looking for fastball, but it started inside. He thought that pitch was going to stay off the plate, and it moved beautifully.
Justin Upton now. This is a guy the Marlins had trouble keeping in the yard in this ballpark last year. He hit 2 balls up into the upper deck. He tripled in the 7th. That was the beginning of the end for Anibal Sanchez. Good sink on that one. And Webb goes 0-2 on him. Sanchez would go 6 2/3. Give up just 4 hits and 3 runs. Got him with a breaking ball. Buck dug it out, tagged him out. So Ryan Webb is an out away from getting out of it himself.
Yeah, you talked about a big pick-me-up and a nice little momentum changer late in a game. It would be if Ryan Webb gets out of this jam after the leadoff triple.
You got the left-hander Stephen Drew coming up, and with Choate ready, Edwin's going to fire that rocket. Choate's coming in, Webb exits. There's a Marooney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck, or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
Miami, Broward, or Palm Beach before July 10th to register to win a trip for 2 to see us play in San Diego, August 19th through the 21st. Trips include airfare, hotel, and tickets to all 3 games. Don't wait. Stop by your local Metro PCS store today. Metro PCS, wireless for all.
Outstanding. Even has the nice smile after he's
And you
done.
know what? Didn't wear the sunglasses.
Some players do that.
Yeah. Good job, Gabby.
So Randy Choate comes in for 1 hitter, and that's Stephen Drew. If he can get Drew and end the 8th, the Marlins will hang on to their 2-run lead. Choate has given up base hits to only 2 lefties all year. You can see the ERA.
You can see how he's used. 25 games, 10 1/3 innings. Could sink to that 86-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's used strategically. Or as George Bush would have said, with much strategery. Here's the 1-1. Good. Sharp break on that. And it's 1-2. Randy Choate has inherited 24 runners this year. 2 of them have scored. And And all he does is come in and get lefties out.
All he does is do his job.
That's what he does. Stephen Drew's a lefty, and now he's out.
Jupiter tonight. Good news. Hanley Ramirez making his return. He went 2 for 3 with the Hammerheads. 2-out RBI. He struck out once. He also walked, taken out for a pinch run in the 7th inning, and he was ready to go and did a good job at DH. Tomorrow he's expected to play shortstop for Jupiter. By the way, the Hammerheads won their game 5-2 over Bradenton. And then the plan is, everything goes well, batting practice here Sunday with the ball club, a workout Monday with the Marlins, and then fly with the team after the game, and hopefully, again, if everything goes well, be reinstated Tuesday for the series in Philly against the Phillies.
All right, thank you, Craig. A lot of changes to talk about. We now obviously know where Chris Coughlin is in the order, the same spot as the number on his back in the 8th spot, which means the pitcher, Randy Choate, is due up next. That means the Marlins will have to hit for him. Brett Hayes has a bat. He's on deck. And Joe Patterson gives up a line drive down the right field line. Over for it is Upton. That ball's off the wall. Coughlin around first, and he's got a double with a head-first slide.
Well, he waited on that big slow curveball. Patterson tried to get it away, and he hung it out over the middle of the plate. Good swing, good AB by Coughlin.
20th double for Coughlin this season, and that ties him with Carlos Beltran for the National League lead.
There's that curveball. It's a big one, but he wants to keep it away. Stayed on the inner part of the plate. Nicely done by Chris Coughlin.
Now, because Coughlin is doubled, the Marlins don't have to use Hayes here, and Javier Vasquez has emerged with a bat because Edwin can now simply try to bunt Coughlin over to third, and he'd rather keep Hayes in reserve as a bench player as his catcher. Diamondbacks, meanwhile, are going to change pitchers again. We'll sort it out after a Marooney called to the pen.
You need a car, truck, or van. Who you gonna call? Marooney!
says they didn't want to pitch to me. They had to bring a right-hander in, he tells Greg Dobbs. So Vasquez is burned, so to speak, in that he no longer can appear in this game. But it's going to be Scott Cousins, because the right-hander Brian Shaw takes over for Joe Patterson. And now Edwin has a nice matchup here. Cousins against the right-hander with Coughlin at second.
Yeah, Shaw was the closer in AAA Reno, having a good year, and just joining their club today.
Cousins swinging at a pitch in on his hands, and it looks like that pitch hit his hand.
The double, Rich, by Chris Coughlin gives the Marlins 7 extra base hits. That ties their season high. There are the numbers on Shaw at AAA.
So not much of a scouting report on this guy. And Cousins breaks his bat. Coughlin is still at second.
And a note that I know you'll enjoy, because we enjoyed watching the action on the bench with Javi Vasquez and his teammates. Javier Vasquez, 98 career sacrifice bunts. That's 5th amongst active players.
With Cousins, you're hoping for the very least a ground ball to the right side. Shaw's had it in on his hands twice. Breaking ball and a good swing by Cousins to stay alive.
You look for that ground ball early in the count, but now with the count 0-2, you just have to go into emergency mode if you're Scott Cousins.
Oh-2.
He's swinging his stuff off the plate inside, and Shaw keeps coming there at him. The one, he almost, I think he did hit his hand. It jammed him so badly.
Yeah, that was pitch number 1.
So he swung at pitch number 1 and 4.
In the dirt, Coughlin freezes. And that's ball 1 to Scott Cousins. You've got Bonifacio and then Infante. You know, the other drama here for the Marlins is who's going to close and pitch the ninth, because Leo Nunez is not available. Steve Cishek seems to be the guy. He was up and throwing earlier. Cousins pops that one foul.
Yeah, I think he's the guy because he right now is just resting because he was throwing. The other guys look kind of relaxed. Burke Badenhop, Mujica, they're just kind of relaxed down there. So I think it's going to be Cishek.
Backdoor breaking ball. Cousins didn't like the call. You can hear his reaction. Here's a look at the pitch. And it's borderline.
It's actually better than a couple of the pitches he swung at.
Bonifacio. And Shaw's pounding him inside.
You could write down an early scouting report on Brian Shaw and say he's not afraid to throw inside.
Couple of doubles, a walk, and a strikeout. Elevates that fastball, and it's 0-2. Now Coughlin opened with a double. That was against Joe Patterson. Shaw stays up there. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Shaw's been a closer on his way up the Diamondbacks minor league chain. Bonifacio takes inside. Count now 3.
This being Shaw's first stint in the major leagues, so his debut in this situation.
Bonifacio on the ground. Nady's over there. Coughlin finally arrives at third base, but he gets there with 2 outs. There is Infante. We hear about a lot of shortstops out of Long Beach State. Shaw pitched in Long Beach State, and he's out of the hometown of one of the legends in the Legends race for the Diamondbacks, Livermore, California, home of Randy Johnson. And it is Steve Cishek in the bullpen. Fonte takes outside. Shaw seems to be a more uncomfortable at bat for the left-handed hitters than for the right-handed hitters.
Seems to buzz that breaking ball in on the left-hander's hands. You watch him, he's not overpowering. He's touched 90 a couple times.
Diamondbacks second-round pick in 08.
That fastball had some cut to it. Good cutter. That face a guy you've never seen. You're not sure 3-1. You know what he's going to stay with, what he might throw.
Fonte fouls it back. Here's where the fact that he's been closing in his career in the minors, the guy making his big league debut, and he's got a runner in scoring position. At least he's been in this situation in the minor leagues before. Fastball's up. So another left-handed bat is going to get a look at him, and that's Logan Morrison.
Well, generally, Lomo's a little more patient, so we'll see if Shaw tries that breaking ball in on the hands and see how Lomo approaches it.
1 for 4 with a 2-run homer. This certainly has a different feel than the last 8 games. The Marlins with an actual lead in the bottom of the 8th. It seems like they've been down a run late in every ball game, and that's how it's ended. Pounds the inside part for a strike.
And in the way that it feels like the previous 8 games, it feels like it because it's not coming easy.
Up and in.
The Marlins in their history, and both in 1998, 2 11-game losing streaks.
As Tommy Hutton arrived in the booth tonight, he was touting the former 70s sitcom 8 is Enough.
8 is enough. Well, the Marlins trying to put a stop to that tonight.
Here's the 1-2. That may have actually bled into the 80s, but I never watched the show. but the title certainly appropriate for the Marlins and Edwin Rodriguez. 2-2. Shaw keeps getting in on the hands of the left-handed bats that he's faced. He struck out Cousins on a backdoor breaking ball. Bonifacio bounced one to first. And he's 2-2 on Logan Morrison. As Kirk Gibson watches intently. That's either a great take.
The pitch was outside. It wasn't down.
And you could hear Phil Cuzzy say that pitch was outside. It wasn't down.
It was both.
So a 3-2 coming. Infante on the move at first. Morrison a little tapper, and it's foul. Our crack staff. Baseball, sitcoms, whatever. 8 is enough. 5 seasons worth. Started in '77 and did bleed into the '80s, 1981.
Dick Van Patten.
There you go. Jack McKeon.
The patriarch of the family on the show.
I thought you were going to say Jack McKeon.
Well, Jack McKeon, too.
The patriarch. Another 3-2. Another foul ball. Eight pitch at bat for Morrison. Chris Coughlin is at third base. Omar Infante has been on the move the last 2 pitches at first. Marlins have played long ball tonight. 3 homers. Morrison's hit 1. Mike Stanton, John Buck. That's in. And Morrison earns a walk. And the bag, Gabby Sanchez.
So Shaw has come in and he's thrown 29 pitches, and he's getting himself a visit from Charles Nagy.
Nobody budging in the bullpen down there for the Diamondbacks. So for a kid making his major league debut,
he seems pretty relaxed.
He does. He seems to have good stuff as well. So Gabby is up with the bags loaded. Breaking ball, a strike. Two runs, not enough right now for the Marlins. They'd like to stretch this lead. Gabby has a grand slam in his career and is a .400 hitter with the bases loaded. It's up. Now it's 2-1. Coughlin the double. Fonte a 2-out walk. Same with Morrison. 2-1. Had a rip at it. The count evens at 2-2. Brian Shaw making his major league debut for the Arizona Diamondbacks. This was a Joe Saunders start for the Diamondbacks. Anibal Sanchez start for the Fish. And those two are the pitchers of record right now. Two. Out to center. Chris Young lopes in. And he makes the catch. Steve Cishek comes in looking for his first major league save. 6 o'clock in high definition, presented by Players Edge Academy. For information on camps or lessons, you go at 561-672-7474. Billy's Bunch tomorrow at 6. Marlins live at 6:30. Ball game at 7. Steve Cishek, the 6'6" right-hander out of Massachusetts, via Carson Newman in Tennessee, Carson Newman University.
You look at the numbers. He's been terrific since joining the ball club. 19 saves in 5 minor league seasons, and trying to get his first save here at the major league level. Scott Cousins stays in the game, and he's in left field.
So Cishek gets Chris Young, Miguel Montero, and Xavier Nady. And he whips one in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Of his 17 minor league saves, none of them came this year. Last year for Jacksonville, he saved a couple games. Also saved 4 Jupiter last year. Smacked and caught by Bonifacio. There's one out.
Maybe that worm is turning a little bit. We saw Bonifacio start the game in center field. He's at shortstop now and just lays out and makes a nice play.
Cishek, the first player from Carson Newman University to get to the big league. Look, the execs are still out there, albeit checking their smartphones. First big league player to get, or first Carson Newman player to get to the big leagues since Clyde Wright back in 1966.
Left-hander with the Angels.
He is a Massachusetts guy. In the offseason from Cape Cod, he'll drive almost 2 hours to Hudson, Massachusetts for winter workouts at a performance gym with a lot of minor leaguers and some big leaguers. That ball's hit to right. Stanton goes back. Mike at the track and makes the catch. And Cishek has given up 2 bolts for outs, but he's an out away from his first big league save.
Hey, the bottom line, he's throwing strikes. Balls have been hit hard, but the defense has taken over. Hey, I saw Cishek out running the other day. He's got those long strides. He keeps himself in shape, gets his running in, and it was fun watching him run. It's just a real easy glide, and he was getting his work in early.
Xavier at gym in Hudson, Massachusetts, also occupied by Kevin Youkilis and some of the Red Sox players. Diamondbacks have been the big league's best in terms of picking up wins since mid-May. Nady takes a breaking ball for a strike. One ball, one strike. Good movement on that fastball. And Cishek, a terrific start to his big league career. Came up at the tail end of last year and has been solid this year now in 8 innings. And he has not given up a run. 1-2 to Nady. This is outside.
And he's impressed everybody with his strike throwing.
That line drive is not caught. It's into left field. And so Cishek's going to have to dig a little deeper if he's going to come out with a big league save. 3 balls hit hard, 2 for outs, and here is Parra, who is 1 for 3. This is what Edwin Rodriguez is going to have to do during this 4-game series, and that is mix and match in the bullpen. Edward Mujica is up and throwing right now. Leo Nunez is not available and won't be, it sounds like, until Monday at the earliest. No 8th inning man, no closer. Just missed. It's 1-0. There's Mujica. Runner goes. Chopper to Infante. Ball game. The streak is over. And Steve Cishek saves his first big league game. Gets the baseball. I hope to see those 5 gentlemen out there tomorrow night as the Marlins win it by a score of 6-4. No more 1-run losses. Losing streak over. Marlins 2 over the 500 mark. 6-4 the final.